Hey guys, backyard scrapping here. I am actually in between customer refines right now. I'm waiting on a couple things to come in, and I'm also waiting on some more supplies to come in. So what I figured I was going to do is just do a small series on recovery. This is things that anybody can do. I mean, if you have the material, it doesn't require any chemicals. It's time consuming, but very simple. I mean, it doesn't take anything but your time. The first one I'm going to do is going to be on computer connectors or little plugs and stuff that comes off of the circuit boards, and it's going to be pulling the pins and harvesting the pins, and then showing you what I do with my own stuff. I mean, I don't process those. I will process full plated pins. I'll process them for you or for even for myself. But the pins that have just the little tips that have gold plating on them, generally I will not process those unless the ends have been cut off. In other words, unless the dead metal has been removed. So that's what this first video is going to be about. Then I've had a lot of people asking me about stripping the silver plated silverware, so I'm going to show you a couple ways to do that, probably in the next video or a couple videos. Anyway, until my stuff comes in so that I can do these other refining jobs that I have to do, I'm going to go ahead and post a few videos on this showing you ways that you can recover material that doesn't cost you a thing, especially if you already have the material, and you can do it without chemicals or anything harmful. Then that would be the stuff that you would want to save up to send to me or someone like me to have refined. So I just wanted to let you know what this is going to be about. It'll probably be a small series. I'm actually, like I said, waiting on some stuff to come in. I've got a couple more refines coming in for customers that I will probably be doing videos on. I have to clear it with them first. But anyway, so that's what this is going to be about, and it may be 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, however many videos it ends up being. So enjoy. I hope you learned something from it. If you have any questions, as always, I'll be happy to help you out and tell you what I can tell you. So have a good one, guys. Enjoy the videos, and we will see you later. Okay guys, what we're doing here is we're basically just pulling pins. Periodically I just bring a little bit of stuff to work with me to work on, because sometimes it gets a little monotonous here, and thankfully my bosses really don't care what I do to pass the time as long as I take care of the customers when they come in. Now when I pull these, this is a long, very long process to do this. But this is actually, these have full plated gold pins. Now if you're wanting to send me something, I will take full plated pins. I will not take pins that are mixed or just the tips are, just the tips are plated. And the reason I don't take those is because there is so much waste. And pins are notoriously low yielders anyway. Now, when we get to something that shows the pins I'm talking about that are just plated on the end, I'll show you a way that if you don't mind taking the time to do it, because I actually do it with mine, but if you want to just cut the plated part off, then I will take those as full plate. Because a lot of times I don't have the time or 2 weeks to wait for these to go through and dissolve in hydrochloric acid, so I will just do them in nitric acid. So therefore that is an expensive acid to do them in. So I mean, you have to cut costs wherever you can. So the less of the metal that I have to dissolve, the better off it is. But like I said, you can see these are actually full plated pins. Okay guys, these are probably going to be tipped or just plated on the tip. I don't know yet till we get into it, but we will see in just a second. And like I said, this is there's a lot of time and effort goes into harvesting pins, especially off of connectors like this. So, I mean, you can get stuff off of them, but it takes a long time. And actually, these are full plate too, so that's good. Yep, they're full plate. So we're actually 2 for 2 on full plated pins. So once again, I'm going to pause until we get one that I can show you. I'm actually doing a couple ahead right now, and then I'll show you what I do. Okay, so that's actually the pins from 2 plugs. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trim them up. So not only do I have to pull them, then I have to trim them. So what I do is I get on here and I see, okay, they're plated to about right there. So that's all the valuable metal there is on that whole thing. See, that whole pin is waste. And you have to dissolve that if you don't do this. And like I said, I only do this for my own personal stuff. See, just them 2 little tips. I don't know if you can see this very well on this camera, but just these 2 little tips are plated to about right there. So that's all I'm taking. There's no point in me dissolving this whole pin for those 2 little tips. And the same with these littler ones. Okay guys, we're back. I just wanted to show you, here's our basically a box of connectors, probably about a half-gallon baggie full. And this is what we ended up with. And now this is what I wanted to talk about. Okay, these, it's always nice when you get this. When you get this, you can't beat it. That's full gold plate pins. You don't have to do a thing to them but process them. On the other hand, they're not all like that. But now this is what I wanted to show you. This is the waste metal off of these pins. This is the ones that the tips are just plated on. This metal has no gold on it. It's just worthless. So why do we want to spend the money on the acid, especially if we're going to do this with nitric acid? Why would we want to dissolve all that metal? Every gram of this metal that has absolutely nothing on it and is totally worthless basically is going to take 1.5 milliliters, possibly 1.75 milliliters, maybe even 2 milliliters per gram to dissolve. So why do we want to dissolve that? We don't. Now basically what I want to do here is just show you something real quick. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you how much waste there is. Alright, in here, which basically, you know, pins are the worst yielding of just about anything you're going to do. But what I ended up with here is 14.22 grams of processable material. In other words, if you were to send me that, I would process that for you. If you were to send it to me attached to this, I would not. But that's 14, so we got 14.19 grams. That is basically just going to be just as easy to process as this. It's going to take about the same amount of acid as this will take and whatever. If we had left them on there, there's twice as much. There's 31.49 grams of totally wasted metal here that you would have to dissolve with your acid. There is no point in doing that. Now granted, this takes a lot of time to do this. You have to hold each individual pin, cut the end off, but I'm just showing you material that I will accept and material that I will not accept. So this basically would have been worthless left together. As far as I'm concerned, it's basically a worthless material. Now granted, being that I'm here, I have time to pass, I can do that. People say, well, that's definitely not worth your time to do it. Well, you know what? This is my hobby. And every gram of gold I can keep out of the landfill makes me feel good. So there it is. I just turned basically a worthless material into a processable material. Hey, nothing is free. You're not going to get anything free. You have to earn it. But what is the sense in throwing this into the garbage? I mean, there's no point in it. People say, oh, that's not worth your time to do. It's not worth the effort to do. What are you wasting your time for? There's a lot of hobbies out there. You got to remember, keyword hobby. How much you ever made playing golf? In fact, doesn't it cost you? You got to buy the clubs, you got to buy the hat, you got to rent the cart, you got to rent the time to play. Was it $150 now to play around the golf? Where do you ever get any money back on that? So it's a matter of how you want to spend your time and what your hobby is. This is my hobby. Fortunately, I have time to kill while I'm here. So there it is. I ended up with 14 grams of what I would have had 45 grams of material or more that I would have probably just thrown away, because I wouldn't even process it on this. It's just not going to work. But now I've turned it basically into this. I mean, in essence, like I've always said from the beginning, if you want to get something back, you're going to have to do some of the work.